Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is my card read looking ahead to May and June 2022. So as I was shuffling, the first card I saw on the bottom of the deck was the Six of Wands, which is the victory card that we had last time. So it's reminded me to remind all of us about that as an idea. No matter what little delays and setbacks and problematic issues that you're having at the moment, the ultimate big picture is one of victory. So do just keep one eye on that when you're going through the difficult times. Okay, and then again, before I got into the main reading, on the top of the deck, I noticed we had the card of the Lovers. So I'll talk a bit about that because it's clearly a message that wants to come through on its own. So the Lovers card is generally about relationships, and in particular, choices and decisions in relationships. But it doesn't necessarily have to be about relationships. It can just be about choice. It's the card of choice. So some things you might need to be reflecting on about whatever issue you think this is relevant for is what choices you'll make, what's the right choice, what your options are. The eclipse window we're in at the moment, so we had one yesterday and another one in 2 weeks. It's going to bring in circumstances and events and situations that will bring this idea of choice to your attention. Maybe you do have a choice you could make, the option of a choice, but you're not quite ready to make it. And that's okay too. Just acknowledging you've got options for when you're ready to make that choice is a good realization. And this, with Mercury retrograde, is a time of reflection. So crystals I've got here, top one is celestite, which helps us tune in with angels. Second one is green aventurine, which always reminds me of the sea. Then carnelian and smoky quartz for grounding. Okay, so into the main reading. First card, another one we've seen before, which is the Ten of Wands. So this is the card of the end of a journey, the end of a tiring journey, and it's just saying exhaustion. So if that's how you're feeling, I know I've been feeling like that more than usual recently. I just want to acknowledge now the burden that you've carried, that I've carried, that we've all carried, and the exhaustion of it, and how you've kept going, and how you've carried so much on your own and persevered through what has been a great deal of pain. You've shown tenacity and just kept going. And I know it's heavy, and I know we're still getting there. But can you see the green shoots on the end of the wands? So that represents growth, that represents the new, and they are growing, and they'll continue to grow even when you put them down. So bear that in mind. We've got a lot of wands in this reading. So the next card is the card Seven of Wands, which is about speeding up, things speeding up. If you're in Ten of Wands kind of mindset, it's hard to see that or even imagine that happening, but it will. After that, we've got 2 cards that came out together, so Five of Swords and Nine of Wands. So Five of Swords is saying that some people have been extremely devious and cruel to others and feel like they've won, but they haven't, because you can't behave like that. It comes back karmically. And Nine of Wands is saying you've watched this happen, you've been involved in this somehow, and you've been aware of this cruelty, and you've done what you had to do to protect yourself. Their weapon has been the swords, which can be words and it can also be actions, but swords are always sharp and violent, and you're very aware of that, and like I say, done your best against it, but it was a very stuck situation. Because then we move on to the Queen of Cups, and that really shifts the mood. So she represents emotional support and the importance of it, emotional well-being. It's the only cup card in the reading. So at this point in the story, in the timeline, she steps in, and I'm sensing that she's angry that no one's feelings and mental well-being, emotional well-being, humanity have been considered. And that's represented by the Eight of Swords. So we have that in the middle here. And it's that sense that people have been and felt trapped by the swords. Again, it can be actions, something sharp, or equally words, trapped in a situation and completely controlled by others, and very isolated in that. So that's what the Queen of Cups is trying to neutralize. And then we have a really good card. It's really positive to see the world. It's a very powerful card. The world is the last card of the major arcana. So it's the final card of a journey. All the lessons have been learned. All the experiences have been had. All the reflection has been done. And, you know, you move off into the world with all this new knowledge. And I do think that's very relevant at the moment. So it's saying we're just really going through this last kind of moments of the pain and the difficulty and the struggle, represented by the card shown, which does lead to growth. It never is without purpose. It always leads to growth. And that's what the World card is saying. It's saying the full drama and conclusion of this situation will play out. There'll always be another book. There'll always be another chapter. There'll always be another journey, because this is life and that's what we do. But this particular one is just about done. We're at the end. And final row of cards. So on the left, we've got the King of Swords, and he really reminds me of the Justice card. The sword is the sword of justice and truth. And it's an honor to wield that sword, and being the King of Swords, he's earned that honor, and he knows, you know, the privilege of holding that sword, the pain and destruction it can cause, and also the healing. So let me just tune into it. See, with the next card being the Six of Swords, I think he's saying if you abuse the sword, if you abuse the power and the honor of having the sword, you'll be banished with the swords. And that's what's happening in that card. The people who did the wrong thing with what's represented by the sword are banished by the king, because he's the ultimate sword holder, if that makes sense. Okay, and then we finish off with Strength card, which is a great card to finish on. First thing I notice in that is the bright yellow sky, and then the angel. So that figure is an angel, and it's a reminder that your, whatever you call them, the angels, ancestors, spirit guides, guardian angel, higher self, whatever feels relevant to you to think of it as, is with you and is guiding you. And even when you're alone, you're not. It's easy to forget that, but that's the final message. So one other thing about yellow is that at Beltane, it's a tradition to pick yellow and white flowers and put them in the windowsill or the doorway. So you may want to do that, or just, you know, be aware of yellow and white flowers around you in honor of Beltane. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. I will be back with updates every week or so. Have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.